Howdy y'all, thank you for joining me today for this unboxing of a Kickstarter I just got in, Lords of Ragnarok. And I started out way zoomed out so you can see a lot more of my playing table here, but you can see here this is I can almost get the whole mat in here, but you can see it's a play mat for the board with spots for the cards and then of course the player for playing on. This looks awfully small in comparison to Lords of Hellas, which I know this is probably going to be compared to. We'll see how close it is. And if so, I don't know how I feel. But then again, oh, well, there is another side. Maybe if that's if you want, maybe one's solo and one's not. Guess I should have started with this other side. I didn't even realize there was another side until I was now picking this up. So you can see, all right, this looks a little bit more like what you'd be playing on. So this is if you have the fifth player, I'm assuming. I mean, it's going to be hard to make out. It is nicely a nice stitched playmat. So definitely have to get one of my baseball bat tubes and put this in there. Let's see what the rest of the game looks like. All right, you can see the box here. It looks like about the same size as the box for Lords of Hellas. You can see the back here. It's got the components, the story. You can see there it is a game for 1 to 4 players. Takes about 1.5 to 3 hours to play for ages 14 plus. You can see the board setup and whatnot, along with probably one of the gods you can worship. I'm assuming it's going to be something pretty similar to Lords of Hellas, just using the Norse mythology instead of the Greek. And I do have, this is the all-in, so I have tons of other things to go ahead and open up and show. One of them I'll show here is the thank you letter they sent. Where they basically just say the thank you for supporting and backing. And then what to do if you have damaged or missing elements or bent or broken. So, which if you've gotten Awakened Realms stuff before, you're probably used to that. As far as not broken and stuff, I just mean the thank you note. I definitely remember seeing it in Ether Fields for sure. Alright, let's get into what you want to see, the main game. So right off the bat, looks like we got 2 tiles here, which I don't understand the art on the back other than just to have them there. I mean, feel bad punching that and messing with that art. But we do have the separate tiles here. And it says to assemble your armies, follow the instructions below for each army miniature. So I didn't realize it looks like they're going to have a base. Take 1 army miniature, 1 dial, and 1 pin, insert the dial. So apparently we have some put together here. Maybe it's hit points and attack kind of via hero clicks type thing. So that's something already a little different. We have the rule book here. Feels about as thick as the Lords of Hellas one. As you can see here, we got components. Oh, and really dense. But if it's anything like Lords of Ragnarok or Lords of Hellas, it's going to be pretty simple to figure out and go through. But we have 3 pages that could talk about the play. Then we have the game setup. Or actually, that's not even play the game. What is this 3 pages? Oh, just key concepts, letting you know the goal of the game. That's 3 pages. Then we get to the game setup. Then we get to playing the game, which feels like 4 pages. Yep. 4 pages with 2 of them being mostly the monsters and hunting, which is the way it was kind of in the other one. I know, I'm going to keep bringing up Lords of Hellas because that's what made this an instant back for me. And then we got the solo rule book, which should be set up, and there should be somewhere scripts or something, because there's like some small scripts of reading. Oh, maybe not in this one, because this one just looks like all play. But all right, I don't think the scripts really came up that much in Lords of Hellas anyways. And then we have some cardboard punch outs, which you can see the dials. And these runes, I believe I got some plastic that's supposed to replace those runes. Oh, those dials are already popping out. All right, we got the board here. So it's a 6-segment board, and what it looks like is it's got this section where you can see the dotted lines. Where I said it was 5-player, it's probably in one of the other expansions. But it's got this section, and then on the other side, when this, at the beginning of this video, you saw the play mat, and it showed a place to play on with some cards. Just don't have the card area, which is the other section. So it's just a 6-segment board in that regards. So this just combines everything into it on this play mat. And then we get the stuff inside the trays. All right, we got some cards here, which kind of are reminiscent of the monsters. It says bosses on them. Oh, yep, monsters. So it's just a boss. Of course, boss, Loki. Then we got monsters. And these don't seem to be acting exactly... Well, actually, I bet it acts exactly the same. They just cleaned it up to where you don't have to look all over the card and just put everything right here. In Lords of Hellas, they had it all over the monster spots, which looked cool because it was like, oh, you're attacking that spot, attacking that spot. But then this just makes it a little bit easier to see everything, I'm assuming. All right, next we got, looks like some dual layered boards here. I just want to be careful to make sure I didn't like cut the dual layering or whatever. But you can see these are dual layered. And if it's anything like the other one, this is your stats. I'm assuming character of some sort. But you can see for each color. All right, we got plastic bits here. Let me pop those open and show you what they look like. All right, you can see, I'm assuming these are the control markers. They are double-sided, but I'm assuming the control markers for each player. I'm sure they go somewhere else. I just dumped them in there for ease. Got some baggies. And then we just have, these aren't like the hard plastic, so I'll show that. But we have, it's like the soft malleable rubber. I'm assuming for going down on the bottom of bases. And then we have 2 of each of the big rings and 1 of each of the small rings. Alright, we got the miniatures here. I'm assuming the top ones are either the characters. I'm going to go with the characters. I'm noticing I'm missing one here, but I got a feeling. We'll see if I'm right. That might be the Valkyrie that's in here. But you can see those along with each army. There's the green army pieces along with their boat. Blue army pieces. Red army pieces with their boat. Oh, maybe not, because then don't know what's going on with the black army pieces here. But you can see each of those. Sorry, I'm not going to take each of those out. I will take one out just to show. You can see here, it's got a spot where it looks like, oh, I'm not going to click it into place just in case that's the wrong dials. I did see two different dials. I think they were different at least, but you can see how there's going to be numbers. And I'm covering up one on the back too. So that's how those are kind of go together. Alright, so we've got this last big tray here, which I'm just going to take out so we can take a look at that. Alright. Says Lords of Ragnarok on it. Alright. We have dice, which if you played Lords of Hellas, this is the monster dice. This is how the monsters move around or whether they attack. Then we have another dice, which looks like it is, yeah, it looks like 3 1s, 2 2s, and 1 3. Another little baggie. And these look like possibly the priests for each faction. And then just some plastic standees. Alright, I'm assuming these are the monsters. I will take each of them out and kind of show them. Try to do them 2 at a time. I know my finger's probably in the way on some of this. But do it 2 at a time just so that we can get through this. Because there is so much to this. This video is probably going to take a bit. Now in Hellas, of course it is annoying, but in Hellas, nope, it does look like they come apart. I was about to say, these would be the gods that are out there. And I was about to say, these are all put together, whereas the Lords of Hellas ones are all separated out and you build up the statues. But it does look like, I'm going to try to do it gently. Yeah, it does look like these come apart, so it's going to be the same thing of putting these together. Just like in Lords of Hellas. I'm assuming that's Thor. Alright. And we just have some cards. You get those out so we can go through them. I didn't pull it out and show it, but this is the base that the gods sit on. And if you play Lords of Hellas, you can see it's probably where the priest will go that you send to those temples. Okay, we'll start off with the smaller cards, which these look like they are the 46 by 71 mini Europeans. You're not going to need many of them though. There are these that look like they are double-sided. But I think it's the same thing on front and back other than the, yeah, like whether you're the daughter or the son. And then also in that same size are the artifacts. And next are the standard size cards. They are going to be 88 by 63. I typically use Dragon Shield, matte. And then on the stuff that doesn't need to be shuffled, that you just want to protect, like player aids and stuff, I like using the Perfect Fit Dragon Shield sealables. Just saves on space, really, is the main reason. But we'll start with the player aids, since that's what we're talking about. We do have 4 player aids. This shows such, front and back. And I'm assuming a different one about build monuments. and then about hunting and rune actions. So it's pretty cool. If I remember right, it sounds like each of those are the actions that can get confusing. So you just go to that and go step by step through that. Don't have to remember them. Next we got the, so like those, I'd probably put in this, the perfect fits. I'd probably put this in the perfect fits too, because these are the gods, which used to be a bigger card, or the statues I should say. And you can see got Freya, Odin, and Thor. So I'm assuming more gods down there in the other stuff. Next we got some cards that say challenge on them. This looks like solo actually. I thought I grabbed all the solo stuff, but it does say solo play. So it's probably the challenge you have to do in solo play. Since I showed those, I'll go ahead and go to the solo play stuff, which has its own player aids. And then the temple card. And then actually a deck of Action Atama, which I guess is just going to show what it does. So pretty cool there. And I just showed a bunch of those you could see, or a few of those you could see there's a bunch there. And one thing I'm going to say about these cards, these are like super thick cards. Now they do not have a linen finish on them, but they are thick, like... So, even in the Dragon Shields, it may make them bow out a little bit, but protect your cards, I guess. Then we have some more temple tracks, depending on the player counts. We have events, which I'm just going to flip through them quickly. You can just see, I'm sure it has to do with the runes and whatnot. The blessings, which these are things that are like basically player powers that you're going to get depending on when you draft. If you played Lords of Hellas, you know how it kind of works, but you're going to draft these player powers at certain intervals in the game and gain some abilities. Then we have the combat cards. Like, I wasn't sure how close this was going to be to Lords of Hellas, but it's looking pretty close. Guess we'll see when we actually play it. Because I see differences, of course, but a lot of them I am seeing a lot of similarities. This says maybe goals. Got monster attack here. So what the monster does. Cool. That's everything in the main box. Sorry I flipped through the cards pretty quickly there, but this video is already going to be long enough because I have 8 other little things to go through. So I want to be able to get right to it and show you everything. So let me get to those. Okay, I'm just going to reach over and start grabbing things. Probably the easiest thing to do. Here it says it is a Valkyrie. Shows you the stuff there. It's just in a blister pack. If I can get everything out. There we go. So yeah, this looks like another character, so it's probably going to go in that spot I was talking about. It's Brunhild. Had the little rules as the back sheet there. And you can see the miniature there. Next we have a monster variety pack. Shows here, it looks like 4 more monsters basically. Yeah, so it just introduces new vicious monsters. So looks like it's going to add 4 new monsters to the game. Of course, I don't know where they'd go at inside the I guess the last thing on this video is I'll see how much of it I can get into the main box. But there is a stretch goal box that has a bunch of stuff in it, so maybe there's like Lords of Ragnarok where there's extra space in that to where you still got to carry 2 boxes around, but alright, the rule book here, but probably going to be pretty simple because it's just going to say just mix these in like the normal monsters. Alright, so we got the 4 new monster cards. Along with, usually these artifacts are to the monsters anyways. I mean, the well, it tells you, oh man, I just noticed. I mean, but usually it tells you don't get random artifacts. It'll usually tell you, you beat this guy, go get this this reward. Like this one, Mayor says, go get the mayor's hair. But there's definitely damage on these cards. But if they aren't random, don't really matter to me. Man, it went all the way through too. Yep. And then we have the new miniatures. Next, we're going to look at this, which I believe is just plastic runes for those cardboard. I actually ordered 3 boxes of these, but it's because I have an idea I want to do with some of my other Viking games that have runes in them. So, figured why not get some extra runes. I'll let you know there. 9 different models, 42 of them. I just went ahead and put them there as the backdrop. You can see there's baggies of the smaller runes, some more than others. The smaller runes are double-sided. Now the bigger runes, there are 1 of each. So that's what they were talking about with those runes. The bigger ones do have a nice wash on them. The smaller ones don't. I'll probably throw a wash on those smaller ones. But that is the runes. Next, we're going to look at this. Utgard, Realms of the Giant. And I noticed something different on this one. So I thought it was just going to be 4 new monsters, which it says you can't just do it like that. But I'm pretty sure the other one was just 4 monsters. This one says it's actually, you can use it as supportive power. Players can use them in battles. Or you can use them as monsters harassing the player's armies. So, interesting. Threw a little twist in there. Where you have some kind of monsters you can control yourself. Oh. But I'm going to assume the other thing was just monsters. I guess I could have went and looked, but I'm assuming the other thing was just monsters because this is actually adding things to the board which were not on the other thing. Oh. Should just be a giant card, just one of them. If you use it as a monster. Then we have the rule book. Says how to use them. Of course, this was a little bit more complicated because you can, like it said, there's using it as monsters, but then it also lets you know if you want to use them as a realm bonus. Got a pack of cards here, which is probably going to be just the rules condensed down to cards. It looks like to me because it says Giants as a monster. Giants is a realm bonus. And there's 5 of them since there's 5 players. I'm assuming that's going to be in one of the other things. One of the other boxes is the 5th player. Now to think of it, we only saw 4. But we definitely know from the map that there is a 5th player. So This is the artifact if you defeat the giant as a monster. And then we have the giant miniatures. Actually, this one might not be too long because this one, or to go through this one, because it is the terrain box, which I had in the other one, which is basically just the temples and, like, yeah, you can see temple models there, settlement models, and then it's got certain models for certain areas and whatnot. But just to add board presence, this isn't something that's needed, but of course we play with it because we want everything to look nice as we have it on the table. All right. You can see the models there. And on those other ones, they look the same all the way through on both sides. These I'll pull out because I think these are all uniquely different. Ugh. For some reason it's hard for me to grab these. Definitely need to put a wash on these, or I might have somebody paint them. Or I might get off my butt and do some painting. But if I'm not going to get them painted, at least get them washed to where they kind of have the details stick out a little bit more on them. Cool. Next, and after this, all we have left is the Kickstarter stretch goals, but we have the Seas of, probably going to butcher that, Ager. And what this does, gives you a new boss, it sounds like, along with some ways of controlling the seas a little bit more. But it is a new god also, so you can just add in a new god to go and build a statue or monument to. It's got the rule book in here, which looks pretty simple. We have the new boss card. We definitely see the 5th player, and the ships all look similar. So that means the 5th player is probably in the stretch goal box. You can see the god here, or the monument that you'll build. See the boss. And let's see what the new cards are that it adds. We have the new artifact card. We have the monument card. So I'm glad they went down to something a little simpler like this. The other thing was nicer looking, but this just so much saving on space, really. I guess it wasn't that much more space. We got the new blessings. Last but not least, we have the stretch goals box here. You can see already, yep, it's got our 5th player color in there, along with, it looks like 2 more gods, Hel and Heimdall, our monuments, along with some more monsters. It actually says all the components right there. Probably the 5-player board, which since we have the play mat, the rule book, yeah, 2 new heroes, 2 new monsters, a new boss, and all the stuff you're going to need for the 5th player. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. So of course the rule book, there shouldn't be much in this because it's just going to show the components of everything that's in this and how to play 5-player, and let you know this is the Children of Loki expansion, the Guardian of Bifrost expansion, so forth. Alright. Well, we knew there had to be more dolls for the new player color. And then we have the 2 new characters, along with some more temples for the 5-player area, and some more pieces that go on the board, I'm assuming. Like I said, the 5-player fold out, which is 3 segments. And I did check, it is the same size, like I said, of the play mat. We got the player color stuff for the other player. You can see we got the rubber pieces for the other miniatures. We have the control markers. Then we have the priests along with the soldiers / units, along with the ship. I think we already saw the boss. Let's go ahead and see. Yep, we got 2. Well, actually, we got 2 monsters and a boss. So this is the boss. And then the 2 monsters. And the player board, which is still dual layered. Alright. You got, I believe that said that was Heimdall Monument. Along with the base. I know I didn't pull the base out in the other one. They just look the same. Oh, this one came detached. But we have Hell here. Assuming one of the other characters. This is probably Fenrir. We have 2 monsters, which, funny enough, this one kind of looks like a repeat. I know it's not exact of the one that's in Lords of Hellas. And then the other character. And last bit, just some standees. And let's get to these cards so you can just see the cards. That way you can see if you want to get this extra, if you're not interested in all this other stuff. But you can at least know what the cards are. Alright, we have the new action cards for the 5th player, so that makes sense. Along with a temple track. We have 3 new events. We have the new cards for the monuments. Surprisingly, a lot of combat cards. I was thinking it would show, take these out, there's 5 players. But I don't really see that unless I'm just missing it. So I guess just going to add more variety, but it makes sense they'd have to add more cards if you're playing 5-player. Or maybe they just wanted to add some more variety. There are 4 more Action Automa cards. And then new blessings, and I will go through each of these. That way you can see the new blessings that are added. Oh. Sorry, yeah, felt like it was a little thick there. All right. Got 2 more those. And then we have more artifacts, which makes me think the deck won't be random. Or will have to be randomized because there's more here than monsters now at this point, I think. So alright, that's everything. I know it was a little bit longer video, but as you can see, it's a lot of stuff. So hopefully I gave you a view of, yeah, it looks like it's just another reprint of Lords of Hellas, just in the Norse mythology. So take that for what it is. I like Lords of Hellas, so I was going to be getting this no matter what. But other than that, I'll let you go. Video's been long enough. Thank you for watching and have a great day.